Everyone, welcome back to the channel, P Street Garage. And it's been a couple weeks, but I'm jumping back on the bus today. And the last time I left off, I was working on this dog leg arrangement, and I was talking about the inner panels and whatnot. And I'll just turn this off here. New tool, by the way. I got one of these little finger sanders. Amazon special. It's like $59. It's not horrible. It's pretty good for getting in tight spots. Now the belts are kind of fragile, so you gotta go kind of easy. Let the paper do the work. Why is that leaking? Anyway, the last time I left off, I was working on this dog leg. And I was talking with my buddy Don from VW Adventures up in Ottawa. And Don sent me in the mail the pattern of the closeout panel that goes in here. So this is the closeout panel. And in the last video I was kind of wondering how to finish this off, because there is a splash panel that goes in here. But before that is this closeout panel. And this is the panel that he made and used. It's actually supposed to go. It's actually designed to go. It's ripping it now. Okay, stand by. There. I used two hands to pull it out. I didn't want to rip it. It was actually designed to go in first, as in behind the dog leg. So it slides in. I don't know that I'll be able to get a piece of metal in there. Maybe, but I'm not that worried about it. I can always weld this on here and then make the panel come up to this section here. But this is the general shape, and it's got the folded edges and everything to fit in these cavities. So I'm going to be making one of these, or attempting to. And he also donated one of these rear splash shield. So that's one of these ones. What side is this? This is one he had left over. What does this say? Does this say left or right? It's one of these. It's actually back here, dummy. It's back here. So it's kind of fits something like that. Wait. Something like this, I think. Anyway, so he donated this to me, so that's absolutely amazing. So again, that's Don from VW Adventures. Check out his channel. He's got a bus kind of like mine, except he's motoring along a lot quicker than I am. So I want to tackle this also. I'm going to try to tackle this floor. I opted against ordering a floor panel because the only bad section seems to be here. So I'm going to attempt to make a piece that goes in here. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I did say attempt, so probably going to be up to here. Either butt, lap, whatever. It's going to come down like this and tie in with this. That should be doable, and then it could be also welded on top of the new dog leg, which should be doable. Now over here, there's a little bit of an angle that goes down, so I think maybe I'll keep that for a separate piece that I'll have to curb and put back in. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go. And I'm probably going to end up trimming this back a little bit. I'm not sure exactly where. There's a couple of... it's kind of Swiss cheese over here. So I think I'm going to eliminate this maybe back here. I'm not sure exactly. There's a couple of marks like that, obviously, that I'm not going to be able to replicate. But I'll try to preserve what's already here. And over here there's a bit of a hole, just a small hole, but kind of weird. There's metal missing, but right underneath is the front frame rail. So this would be the top of the frame rail, which is solid for whatever reason. So maybe I'll just trim this out a little bit and put a little bit of a flat patch in here. And yeah, let's see how this works. Let's see how I can make out with this. All right. So this is my idea for the floor pan. So I've got this piece of metal tentatively bent, and so I've marked out sort of, I made the piece big enough so it would encompass any areas that were bad, and I kind of drew this out. You can see that outline here. So I'm going to cut all this out and then try to form this into place. I have no specialty tools. I don't have any benders or anything. I have, I put this over my knee and I bent it. And I'm going to try to push it down and form it to the best of my ability, and weld it in place. So I'll probably have to hammer it a little bit in the corners. I'm going to try to make it so it's not too stipply and hideous looking, but anyway, I'll do my best to try to form this. Yeah, let's give that an 18 gauge. It's very thick. It's very thick and it's very hard to bend. So I think if I can get this in place, it'll be plenty strong. So let's cut this bad stuff out here. I was trying to preserve as much as I could, but in all reality, I kind of just hammered around. It's kind of bad right here, so I'm going to get rid of this. And it seems good over here. Still got the factory paint and everything. So let's chop this out and try to form this piece of metal in. So this is my idea. I've got my plate in. I'm holding it in with self-tapping screws, and that really helped to suck in the angle here. So over here, I like this. I like this. It even looks good back here. Where am I? Right there. It even looks good back here. Of course, the screws will be gone after. I could probably live with this. I'll have to work this one a little bit. Now the hairy part's going to be this compound curb here, but I think with maybe a little bit more slicing and a lot of welding and grinding, I think I might be able to make this work. Of course, this will all be pushed right in. This could be pushed in, this could be pushed down, and it's not horrible. So I think I'm going to take a little break now, supper time, and I'll try to glob this together after supper. See how we make out. Okay, so I've started welding this patch in, and I think I'm going to make this work. I think. I've got it welded all along here. Not beautiful, but this is a butt weld. I've got it up here in a lap weld and down. And then I'm going to come back on the other side, and where the metal is down here, I'm also going to put a bead here. So there's going to be an overlap of metal with a bead on top and on the bottom. And I can tell I got good penetration. I can see the discoloration here. So right now I've just sliced the inside here. And I'm going to try to do, the gap is it's a little tight, maybe a little too tight. But what I want to do here is I think I'm going to take my small wheel again. This another little cheap Princess Auto find. And I'm going to re-slice this a little bit, and then I'm going to weld this all the way around. And then I'm going to take my spot weld cutter, and I'm going to drill some holes here, and I'm going to plug weld this edge and here, and then I'm going to have to fight with this middle here and try to form this. So far so good. It's got the shape. Yeah, I'm going to keep going with this. Alright, I'll check in again in a bit. Okay, so here's this floor piece all ground down, and I think I can live with this. Again, a couple of butt welds here, not bad, and well, not bad for me. A lap weld over here, So I've got nice double metal over here. This little piece I sliced and I pound, and I came back and I put a little triangle in. I'm going to grind this just a tad bit more before I seam seal. And that weird little hole that was here, I put a patch in here. So that's good. That was on top of the frame anyway. And it even doesn't really look bad. Shit. It doesn't look bad underneath even. That's kind of good. So where are we? So there's this floor pan underneath. Not bad. So good penetration here, good penetration there. That corner is all molded and ground. I probably will seam seal this. I fought a little bit with this one. I could still see pinholes, but they're all gone now. And there's my floor pan. And I think this is going to work just fine. I think this will work just fine. So let's jump back into here now, and let's make this closeout panel, and then I will do a final grind, and I'll paint all this new metal. Okay, so here's that pattern that I got from Dawn. I folded mine down because I'm not going to be able to tuck it in behind, because this should have went in before the dog leg, but I think this will work anyway. So I'm going to trace this out, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to try to fit it in place. So thank you, Dawn. It fits like a glove. Alright, let's pop this into place. So the noise you hear in the background is the rain. We're having a real downpour here, but anyway, I'm nice and dry in here. So here's this closeout panel, and you can see that it fits. It's very nice. So mine obviously did not go all the way up. This is designed to go all the way up to here, but I had installed the dog leg before because in a previous video I had mentioned I wasn't certain. So anyway, I'm going to weld this onto here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some little holes. I'm going to plug weld this, same with the dog leg at this level. I'm going to drill some holes and I'm going to plug weld this section. Maybe a little bit on here. And then I think I'm going to grab the spot welder and give this a couple of pinches. Not sure about this. So yeah, this is kind of a strange arrangement, but this is how it goes, I'm pretty certain. And then you're meant to take the splash shield, which is this big piece. Then that goes into here to fix the bulge. And then this weird cutout here is designed to go around like this, and then these little pieces protrude. Now I even went to there's a repair facility not too far from where I live, and they specialize in Westphalias and that, and I took a peek underneath of a couple of buses, and this is pretty much the arrangement that they had, with this stuff sticking out, and I guess then they come back and they put a bead of seam sealer. Anyway, it's not, I think it's kind of silly myself. I don't know, I would almost rather this was all flush here. If this was all flush, it would make more sense to me than have this jutting out, but I don't know. I didn't design them. I'm only trying to put one back together. So let's get this one in place, and then we'll try to wrestle this in here. We'll probably have to trim. There's a lot of metal here, so you kind of end up with, and I did confirm this with Dawn, 1, 2, 3, you end up with almost like 3 or 4 layers of metal at this point, which is also kind of crazy, because then you get moisture can seep in and stuff, and especially with this stuff here, which is literally paper thin. At least this stuff here I made out of 18 gauge. This is pretty stiff, and this stuff was pretty good. This, not so much. Again, Clocker home brand. paper thin. This is Clocker Home paper thin, but kind of is what it is. All right, enough babbling. Let's put this into place, and then we'll try to wrestle this piece in. Alrighty, here's the closeout panel in place. Got the plug welds. I welded the top. Now I'm going to come back. I've got my my spot welder here. I'm going to pinch this bottom, and then I'm going to finish off this top hat. I'm going to pinch this all the way down, and I'm going to throw on the splash shield, which will also be the bulge. So that'll fix that part. So that will take care of this. I'm also going to spot weld along here, if I can get the spot welder in. It's a good piece of kit. I like it, but it's very bulky, very heavy, and you're very limited to where you can actually get in. I also found some Swiss cheese up here. I don't know if you can see that little rectangle up there. That had holes at the top, and I could see through there, so I made a little rectangular patch here. Yeah, so anyway, moving along. I'm going to spot weld this, I'm going to grind everything, and then let's see if the splash shield will fit. So here's this splash shield tentatively in place, and it's fitting okay here, and you can see how it's gonna, I can pound it up here to make this seam. It'll make this seam, and it'll be either pinched or plugged or however. I don't think my spot welder will do 3 layers of metal, but it might do the thin Clocker Home stuff. Anyway, this is what I was talking about earlier. This weird cutout. And I mean, yeah, this is what you're left with. It almost doesn't seem really proper, but pretty sure I've seen this before. So anyway, this is what I'm gonna do, and I take it the practice is to seam seal this, which I don't know. I really don't like that, but anyway, I think this is how you're supposed to do it. So up here, now here I'm not sure how to do this. I think I'm just gonna slice, sorry, too close. I think I'm just gonna slice this and either cut that off or push the other flap up there, and then spot or tack this up in place. And as far as inside, I'm not sure. I think I'll just seam seal that. I mean, gosh, how many layers of metal do you need in there? But anyway, the good part is that it will fix this. It will fix this section here, which was wasted away. And then I'll weld this here. I'll grind it, and this can be body work later for the inside of the cabin. I'm not even sure how I'm going to finish this bus yet. I might keep this. I might get rid of it. I might end up just having bare with all just painted metal, or I might just have wood paneling or whatever. I don't know. I'm not there yet, but there's a good chance this stuff's all going to be covered because the floor will come up here. And if I do a finished floor, the practice is to at least put a layer or two of plywood and then put your vinyl plank or whatever on top. So probably this will all be disappeared anyway, but it's nice to see the new metal. Every little bit seals up the holes and gives it a little bit of strength. So the bulge here is kind of squared off, whereas the factory one was more round, but again, aftermarket parts, kind of is what it is. I'm going to glob this together. I'm going to come back and I'm going to plug weld. I've already drilled my holes here. I'm going to plug weld the top hat, and that's pretty much going to be it for this section. Okay, so there's the splash shield. Got a bunch of holes drilled for plugs, so that'll hold it nice and tight in there. And I got 3 plugs here, 2 this way, 1 in the middle, and then 2 at each top, and I've split it to go around the inner structure. So let's put this in, and it'll just be a matter of coming back and welding along the top. Alright, let's see what this looks like when we're done. Okay, well, this section is all done. Everything's been ground. It's time to break out the seam sealer. Got this area in here all done, all ground. Again, I'm going to seam seal, and I'm going to put some, I'm going to clean this up too, this pedestal, and put on some protective paint. Same with the back section of the bulge here. I got that all ground. And yeah, for now this is done. This part here will be body work, no doubt, but I think for now I'll just throw some protective paint on there to prevent the prevent any rust from flashing. And definitely going to seam seal inside the wheel well. I'll show that in a second. And I came back and I did some more spot welds. I did some more spot welds along the bottom of that lip. Of course, there's another piece that's got to go on top of there. So maybe I'll hold off on the paint on this section. I was going to paint this, but I think I'll hold off. Alright, let's wrap this one up. So I think what I'm going to do also, I think I'm going to take the wire wheel to the seat part of this pedestal, because everything here is in pretty nice shape. And I also, with this bus, I still have all the original jack. So the original jack is all here with the piece that goes into those jacking points there. So this is all complete, even with the little bracket that holds everything down. So I want to keep all this. So, and this all stows here underneath the passenger seat. So as I'm doing this seam seal and paint to protect this fresh metal, I may as well give this a quick wire wheel and recoat this as well. Alright, let's do that right now. So that was just a quick little cleanup with the wire wheel here. Let's jump into some seam sealer. See what kind of mess I can make with this stuff. Alright, I got all my seam sealing done. So everywhere that I welded, I seam sealed. Where there was a gap, I seam sealed all in here. I've got this cleaned up. I seam sealed all in here. Now I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to make this stuff look good, but I seam sealed this weird arrangement here. And yeah, we did all the corners, all around up there, my patch. I re-seam sealed a lot of the welds. Anything that's bare metal that had not been painted, I finished the welding, re-seamed, re-sealed all that. I did seal my little bulge piece. Again, this will have to be all body worked, but for now I got the welds covered up, and I'm going to throw a coat of black paint on everything. Rust-proof paint. Alright, final push and we'll have this section done. So this is what I'm going to go with. Black. I chose a semi-gloss this time. I had gloss on the frame, and I mean there's no need for the frame to be that shiny. But anyway, this is again, this bus will be painted eventually, obviously, and the interior is not going to be black, but this is some good quality rust paint and primer. So before somebody takes my head off because I'm not using primer, Tremclad paint and primer, very much like Rust-Oleum. And I'm just going to put a a relatively thin coat on here, all over the pedestal, the floor, the new metal, inside that dog leg, and anywhere that I missed on those outriggers where I came back and touched up the welds and the seam seal, I'm going to redo this. So yeah, moving right along here. I'll bring you back in a bit. Okay, well, there we have it. I'm all done this phase. So my floor is all patched, seam sealed, rust-proof paint. And I've painted a little bit beyond. I've painted the entire pedestal. That's all clean and all good metal. Pretty happy with this. Now under here, I painted the whole section. Everything that I had basically disturbed, I painted. And that turned out okay. Still kind of shiny. That paint's going to dull down a little bit, but there it is. This part's all done. So I did back here. And I did all my exposed metal that I previously hadn't touched. So that's all been blackened. So everything is coated. Of course, this will be painted body color later, sorry. But for now, I just thought I would protect it since I had the blackout. And so there we have it. I'm going to leave it here for now. Patch panel in the floor, closeout panel, splash shield. That's all done. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.